So if you've been listening to our recent episodes, you'll know that I'm talking a bit about mindfulness. And the concept of mindfulness really is about self-observation. It's about improving our well-being by coming to the present and taking control of our body and our thoughts. And that's all well and good, but mindfulness takes on a little bit of an extra edge for me when I have to be mindful in social situations. All right, the third and final mindfulness milestone. And for me, as I said, this is the hardest one. It's all well and good to take control of your life when you're tying your shoes. For me, social mindfulness is an ongoing problem. I guess maybe I have social anxiety, or perhaps I've lived a life of distraction that becomes more apparent when there's other people around. And so, anytime you are in a social interaction, it's a great time to do some mindfulness check-in. And, it could even be texting with one person, or it could be when you're at a concert, the Taylor Swift concert with 20,000 other people. For me, mindlessness, unmindfulness, it creeps in when I'm in social situations. And so much of that, I think, is that because of the anxiety, perhaps because of the pressure of having to interact with other people in real time, you can't let up. I fall back onto how I always am, right? We run those subconscious scripts, and there's more to say about that some other time perhaps, but there's behaviors that we fall back on, there's ways of thinking that we fall back on that we've become quite comfortable with. So quite often what arises is I become shy, become introverted, I let other people control the flow of the interaction. Not always, if it's a close friend, it's less of a problem, but when you're at work, maybe it's a meeting, you're on the job site, you're in the classroom, you're at a party, larger social gatherings especially. Perhaps self-consciousness sets in, introversion sets in, perhaps you end up saying things you don't really mean, things you later come to regret. If social anxiety is some amount of a problem for you, or if you'd like to be better around people, you'd like to be more social, but you find you're holding back, you're just doing the same old dance, what's the answer? By this point, I know you know the answer. Mindfulness. Let's work it backwards. Let's take those 3 checkpoints that we ask and we go backwards now. Number 1, here's what I like to do. Take control of that posture and take control of your breath. So much anxiety, so much stress, so much uncertainty can be alleviated when we are certain of ourselves and we can control ourselves. We can't control what Buddy's going to say. We can't control what she thinks of us for the most part. We can't control how long this damn meeting is going to go on, but we can sit up straight. We can feel the natural curve of our spine. We can get our chin up. We can breathe. That's a start. That's a start. Next, as you know, am I thinking about what I'm doing? And am I doing what I'm thinking about? Well, we're in a social situation. Perhaps we're in a conversation with somebody. Shouldn't I maybe focus on what that person is saying? Shouldn't I maybe look at them in the eyes, think about what I might be able to offer? Or just take in and actually imagine the story they're telling you. Fine, it's boring. Fine, you've heard it before. We're not getting out of this social situation at the moment. You might as well come to it. You might as well engage yourself in it. And again, you know my style of rhetoric. I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm talking to myself first and foremost in the hopes that anybody listening in may be able to benefit. And so lastly, that third point, right? We've come to a mindfulness milestone. We're checking in. And that third, or at one time first, mindfulness check-in point, and again, you can use them in any order you want. Here we're going backwards. So what is number 1? That is focusing on the present. And now if you're in a social situation where you don't have to be currently talking all the time or presenting or, fully engage, if you're just in a group of people and you find that social anxiety is taking over, this is a great time then to begin to focus on the outside world. This is somewhat, I suppose, antithetical to what I've been talking about, but if self-conscious is becoming unmanageable for you or social anxiety in the moment, we can alleviate it by focusing that thought on the present and on what is going on around us. What all can I see? What does it feel like to be where I am in the moment? What can I smell? What can I hear? What could I potentially reach out and touch, but be careful with that in social situations. That self-consciousness is that extreme form of receding inward and projecting all the things that you think about yourself onto other people and then back onto yourself. What if we stopped that insane spider web or that insane cloud and just started thinking, and people might look at you funny like, well, what's he staring at off in space for? But again, it'll take time. But if extreme self-consciousness is a problem, let's talk about being extremely conscious of the outside and the present, right? Less about what people think of you and more about perhaps what you think of those people, huh? I have really found that social anxiety alleviates and that I do better in social situations when I take control of my body, come to the present moment, ground myself, and focus on what is going on around me. That is what mindfulness is about. It's not easy. It's not going to happen overnight. I will still go drop the ball tomorrow, I'm sure. But everyday things that we do, social situations, and first thing in the morning are those 3 prime mindfulness milestones. I hope that you can put those to work in your life today. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Let me know, do you find maybe you do have a problem staying focused, a problem with being distracted, and as a result, you're suffering some negative emotion, poor thoughts, unfortunate outcomes? Could mindfulness milestones be a behavior, an activity that you could bring into your life to start to see some difference, to make a moment just to clear the fog, clear the haze, and come to life a little bit more fully? You make a habit of doing that, you become a lot more aware of who you are. So will you learn to check in during the day? And will you ask yourself those 3 mindfulness questions? Am I focused on the present? Am I thinking and acting in unison? And am I practicing self-control? Until we speak again, good luck in your mindfulness practice. Let me know how it goes. You can get in touch on the YouTube comments, Facebook, Instagram. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts, the Q&A on Spotify. Would love to hear from you, truly. I see people are watching and listening, slowly starting to hear from more and more of you. I'm here for you. I want to hear from you, at least until this show gets too big and I start making a ton of money off it. Right now, I'm very interested in you, and I always will be. I appreciate the support. And say it with me now, better is possible.